So I finally got to see the one we've all been waiting for, Kisengchung or Parasite, and simply put, it's everything I ever wanted from a Bong Joon-ho film, and some more. Here's why. By the way, the original intro where I talk a little more about the filmmaker and his recent Palme d'Or win, it's on a separate video, so if you're not too familiar with him or his works, I suggest you go check it out before watching this or the actual film. Ki-taek's unemployed family of four are struggling to make ends meet. When an opportunity comes up for the son Kyu to land a well-paid tutoring job at the house of Mr. Park, the owner of a global IT firm, he takes his chance to resuscitate his sinking family. But following this first meeting between the two families, an unstoppable string of hazards befall them. So this marks Bong's return to Korean cinema in 10 years. We all know what he's been up to this past decade, and he sure made good use of that time, but there have been a considerable degree of hopes of him returning to his roots, for good reason too. And that's just what he did, because Parasite displays Bong Joon-ho in his finest form. The trademark concoction of bizarre genre orgies, armed with timely social commentary from the host days, are back. The theme and narrative seemingly feeds on the social class rage. It's quite literally and figuratively packed with blows and jabs that resonates in Korea's financially tough, politically polarized times. Because this burden feels so contemporary, so 2019, it obviously is just as coherent and relatable in numerous nations overseas as well. In some ways, the theme of Parasite is also responsive to that of last year's Burning, but in a more eccentric, sneering way. Compared to the vague questions left hanging from Burning, the symbolism is much more intuitive, that it almost feels like a simple fable or an allegory. There's no doubt that Parasite is a lot more accessible. I mean, the box office scores are proving that as we speak. The screenplay that Bong worked on with Kim Dae-hwan, the guy behind the acclaimed indie drama Choheng, or The First Lap, is superbly written, with a special highlight on the dialogue. The dialogue, it sounds organic and can be hilarious at times, but it carries just the right amount of depth to guide the audience towards the bigger picture at all times. This, of course, is heavily supported by the Sublime Cast. Song Kang-ho, Bong's greatest collaborator, is mesmerizing as always. That cannot come as a surprise at this point, of course. Choi Woo-sik, who admittedly I've had double-sided thoughts about, exquisitely interprets arguably the most intricate role of them all. Lee Sung-gyun, Cho Yo-jung, Park So-dam, and Chang Hae-jin are all equally as impressive. Not a single weak performance to be found, and that includes the minor roles as well. Direction-wise, you can clearly tell how much Bong is dominating the craft. The way he handles such a peculiar story filled with equally unstable characters, yet making it feel so tonally assured, is astonishing. Compared to his previous works, Parasite is similar to Mother in the sense that the film is relatively small and devoid of any computer-generated visual spectacle. But as we all know, that has nothing to do with the fact that it's just as engaging and entertaining as any of his other works. A good example would be the lengthy montage sequence during the second act. That is remarkably pulled off, so smooth. It leaves you appalled at the characters and the situation they find themselves in, while being tickled with laughter. It literally had the entire audience cracking up. I can't recall the last time I had so much fun with a sequence like that. Bong also reunites with an old pal, the veteran cinematographer Hong Kyung-pyo, who I've repeatedly talked about in length on my other videos, and they don't really go for anything too flashy regarding the cinematography, which is obviously respectable, especially given the fact that this is a dialogue-driven film. However, they do focus on one key aspect, and that is the tracking shot, both the horizontal and the vertical, with a bit more stress on the latter this time. Bong has always been known for his expert use of tracking shots, notably in The Host and Snowpiercer. And in Parasite, he actually incorporates the use of vertical tracking shots to visualize the subject matter, or in other words, the levels of social class some of these characters are stuck in. You'll notice that the same characters are always positioned on the bottom half, or going downwards in these shots, and with the combined efforts of good production design, Bong's superior ensemble staging, and Hong's camera work, these are among the most iconic key shots in the film. Now, is Parasite Bong Joon-ho's latest masterpiece? I honestly do think so. Not in the sense that he tried something completely new, something outrageous, thereby fully evolving into the next stage in his filmmaking journey, not like that. But in the sense that with this film he has fully solidified a cinematic genre, a language of his own. I know that's a term that gets thrown around way too often, but that truly is the case here. There are additional points I would have brought up here, like the soundtrack by Chung Jae-il, also top-notch. But I want to keep the video as compact as possible, and I feel like I already did give you guys the general idea of what to expect from Parasite. I don't think I need to urge you guys to go watch this one, as we all know Bong has quite a following, now more than ever. And that's a great thing. I hope that attention really gradually expands over to Korean cinema. So if you guys want to talk more about this film or any of Bong's previous works, hit me up in the comment section below or anywhere else. I'll see you soon.